Hi, my name's Tony Morrow, and this is Introduction to Project Management. In the last episode, I told you that we would be starting our project cycle and learning who's who in the zoo and who project managers are. That's a lot of who's. But don't worry, we won't be spending a lot of time in Whoville or in a TARDIS or on first base for my Abbott and Costello fans. Instead, we're going to start with failure. As a project manager, you need to be comfortable with things not going according to plan, making mistakes, and failing. In 2017, a Pulse of the Profession paper, the Project Management Institute found that only 57% of projects finished on budget, only 51% of projects finished on time, and only 49% finished in scope. Or put that another way, between 43 and 51% of all projects failed in a critical aspect of their project delivery. That would be like if the Eagle didn't land first on the moon and the Soviet Union would have clinched the hat trick for the first satellite, first person in space, and first person on the moon. If the rebels hadn't successfully met the scope of their mission in destroying the Death Star, we would never have had an Empire Striking Back, or a Return of the Jedi, or the later trilogies, which, in hindsight, Being able to adapt and be flexible to unexpected events or failure is a key attribute of a successful project manager. We need to adjust and adapt our approach in the face of changing circumstances to be successful. To help us in this, we have some tools in our project management environment that can enable our success if used properly, or be obstacles to overcome if not recognized. Enterprise Environmental Factors, or EEFs. EEFs? Fs? Judge, can I get a ruling on that? Fs it is. And the Organizational Process Assets, or OPAs. Fs come from outside the project or even outside the organization. These could be constrained supply chains, political or regulatory constraints, or other large-scale issues that influence our project. OPAs are internal to the organization and may even be imposed by the project itself. To break it down further, external Fs are government standards we need to meet, physical environments that we operate in, and market conditions that affect our product delivery. Think big scale. Internal Fs are organizational culture, IT tools and support, and employee capability. OPAs are standard operating procedures or processes, internal analytics or survey data, and bodies of knowledge like templates, guides, or other references. These are all factors that help us shape our project activities, even our outcomes. This course, your handouts, notes, even these videos are OPAs. Whereas whether you are in the office or working remotely is due to an F. Not as in failing, but as an enterprise environmental factor. Speaking of offices, let's take a minute to discuss the project management office and the structure of the project team. For the purposes of this course, we are discussing our individual projects and using that as a model to understand how projects work. When you take a number of related projects and group them together, we call that a program. Take that one step higher and group a number of related programs together and you have a portfolio. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is an example of a portfolio. It is a variety of related stories and characters in them. The Infinity Saga is a program or collection of stories inside the MCU that build towards a climactic end and the I am Iron Man snap. Whereas each Avengers movie in the saga is its own individual project. Government ministries are often referred to as portfolios, as they are a collection of various programs that deliver specific projects. The Ministry of National Defense is a portfolio made up of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, with each branch having a number of various programs that support specific missions or projects. When the military is called in for disaster relief, flies a plane, or sends a ship overseas, these are examples of projects. Employment and Social Development Canada is a portfolio. The Student Work Placement Program is a program, and the individual co-op placements are examples of a project. To simplify that further, many related projects can make a program. Many programs and projects can make up a portfolio, and any combination of these can make up even bigger portfolios. The Project Management Office, or PMO, not the Prime Minister's office, is the project, program, and portfolio HQ that supports the projects. They can be a repository or history of templates, training, best practices, or lessons learned. The PMBOK defines the PMO as a management structure that standardizes the project related to governance processes and facilitates the sharing of resources, methodologies, tools, and techniques. The PMO can be more controlling by standardizing frameworks, processes, and methodologies, and requiring conformance. Or the PMO can directly manage the project with project managers reporting to the PMO. The degree of control can vary depending on the organization. In the end, PMOs are there to help project managers with coaching, mentoring, coordinating communication between projects, or setting common standards that benefit the project as a whole. The PMBOK defines a project manager as a person assigned by the performing organization to lead the team that is responsible for achieving project objectives. So you are the leader of your project team. The project team are those individuals who support the project manager in performing the work of the project to achieve its objectives. The structure of these teams can be very different. In a traditional functional structure, projects can be managed using the functional hierarchy as an example. A manager or department head responsible for service delivery is leading the project from our first episode where we talked about moving from current state to new state. This has the benefit of using existing reporting paths and team dynamics. There is a maximum of flexibility and in-depth expertise with minimal transition post-project. Unfortunately, there can also be a lack of focus as the team is easily distracted by routine work or operations. There may be issues around integration if the functional team is siloed from the greater organization. Project processes can be slow or bogged down by administration and bureaucracy. And the motivation of the team can be low with a lack of ownership or buy-in if the project is perceived to be a burden on top of more routine responsibilities. Dedicated project teams operate separately from the greater organization, with team members being recruited from within or outside the organization. This cell, or projectized organization, benefits from being simple, independent from the functional organization and not taking resources from it. Fast, in that projects are completed quickly as the team devotes all of their attention and focus on the project. Highly motivated and cohesive as the team members operate with a common goal and personal accountability within the team. And cross-functional integration with subject matter experts from different specialties working collaboratively towards optimizing the project. But this can be expensive. Paying for a new manager and a team who operates independently can potentially duplicate effort across projects, losing economies of scale. Friction between the project team and the greater organization can arise, especially once the project is over and the team needs to assimilate back into the greater organization. Of course, many projects operate in a matrix, or a mix of these two. A weak matrix is closer to the functional structure, except with a formally designated project manager. Functional managers retain control of staff and their project deliverables, while project managers document progress, draw up schedules, and collect information while monitoring the project. Strong matrix teams provide a project manager with control over most aspects of the project, including the functional organization's personnel, and has final say on major project decisions. Functional managers are consulted and may operate like subcontractors for specific work. A balanced matrix, or classic matrix, is where the project manager defines what needs to be accomplished, and the functional manager handles the how it gets accomplished. Put it another way, the project manager plans the project, the functional manager executes the project. This has the benefit of being efficient, using shared resources over different divisions or departments. High project focus with a project manager who coordinates and integrates contributions from different units. Easy post-project transition as the project organization is overlaid with the functional organization, and flexible use of resources within the organization. The disadvantages include conflict between functional and project managers and their competing priorities. Conflict between project managers as resources and people are shared between different projects. It can be stressful, competing priorities between project and functional requirements, and it can be slow. Time after time, classic matrix models get bogged down in decision-making, with needs for consensus across functional groups and managers taking too much time to get stuff done. In today's episode, we've discussed failure and the need to pivot and adapt to be successful. We've discussed EEFs and OPAs and how they impact our project. We've explored projects, programs, portfolios, and how they work together. We've defined the PMO, project manager, and project team, and we've discussed the different structures and formats a team can take. In our next episode, we will initiate our project and develop a charter.